Session Chair of Delegates, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon to all of you. I bring warm greetings from IWWA India. My topic of presentation is Water Supply Sector Reforms for Sustainability. Sustainable development has become a buzzword. Development that meets the needs of the today's generation, present generation, without compromising the needs of the future generation. Sustainable development is development that can continue forever, or at least for a long time. Coming to water, access to clean water is critical at home as well as in abroad also. More than 650 million people worldwide do not have access to clean water. Without clean water and toilets, the world poorest people will become poor only. They will stay back as poor only. During September 2015, 193 countries of UN have joined together and they have signed off 17 goals, global goals for sustainable development. Goal number 6 is to ensure worldwide access to water and sanitation by 2030. Globally, the number of people living without access to safe water is coming down. We are progressing. Next slide. Coming to quality of life. In India, at the time of independence, the felt need was roti, kapda or makan, that is food, clothing and shelter. Later, it has become road, water and electricity, that is sadak, pani and bijli. These availability of water, availability of food, availability of power, all are interlinking. Everything will have impact on this environment. Today, we face the problem of environment precisely because we have forgotten our goal. We have become more materialistic. There is more problem shifting than problem solving. To solve one problem, some technology is developed for which in turn creates further more problems. It is a chain reaction. In atomic explosion, where one neutron liberates 3 more neutrons, and each one of them liberates 3 more neutrons, it's a chain reaction. Similar is the case of technological problem also. Next. Objective of this paper presentation is to highlight challenges faced by sector agencies in realizing the government's vision to make water supply schemes sustainable and to translate intermittent supply of Indian cities to 24/7 and provide services effectively, efficiently and equitably. Status and few sessions are provided to identify the sector reforms required to achieve the goal. Next. India is the second most populous country in the world, over 1.35 billion, which is globally about 17.74%. And rural population is 0.9 billion. If you take the case of our neighboring state, AP, it's almost 30% is the urban and 70% is the rural. As far as Telangana is concerned, already 40% is urban and 60% is rural. Rapid urbanization is going to destroy many cities in India. By 2050, it is expected that 50% of the population will stay in urban areas. Water resources are under stress because of urbanization. The impact of urbanization is increased water consumption, increased water footprint, increased waste generation, increase in population of, pollution of water resources. Next. Rainfall. India is the wettest country. As we see, we are therefore, as India receives on an average 1170 mm of rainfall, which is more than the world's average rainfall of 870 mm. We are therefore not badly off as far as water resources are concerned. This is the huge quantity, no doubt, and should not cause any worry. But this gift, which nature has bestowed on us certain serious limitations. This limitation of Indian monsoon rainfall dictate that practices have to be adopted for conserving it and making it available whenever it is needed. It suggests itself to collect, store rainwater where it falls. Here I would like to add that rainwater percolation rate is very, very less. That is why 90% of the rainwater is let into the sea as a rainwater runoff. When the underlying soil is sand and gravel, there will be low runoff potential and high infiltration rate. That is around 1.5 inch per hour. And in case of clay soil with high potential of swelling, there will be high runoff rate and low rate of this infiltration, maybe half an inch or per hour or so. Thus, 80 to 90% of the rainwater is being wasted as a runoff into the sea. Every village and town, there used to be many water bodies. Just like in Hyderabad, there was more than 1,000 water bodies. Now, almost 180 or 160 are left over. Remaining have been occupied by they are constructed buildings. This is the scenario in every town also. Next, water stress. Nation's water availability per capita is diminishing and is projected to continue to diminish. In 1951, water availability was 5,600 cubic meter per capita. By 2001, it has come down, dropped to 1820, and it is likely to come down to 1140 by 2050. If it is greater than 1700, it is called prosperous. If it is less than 1700, less than 1000, it is called scarce. Next. So as seen from the slide, in general, the storage capacity is quite less as far as India is concerned. It is just 200 cubic meter per hour. As earlier speakers have told, we are supposed to have strong runoff cushion tanks so that we can make use of that water whenever we need. Otherwise, it will be simply wasted into sea. Next. Challenges in urban water services. Intermittent irregular supply, inefficient and inequitable utilization of water. In fact, Indian water utilities have a very difficult task. They operate, as we know, in extremely challenging situation. There are not more than a handful of ULBs which are allowed to operate their urban water services as a business. We will find usual problem of dilapidated infrastructure, poor consumer coverage, no cost recovery, no skilled operators, poor service quality. Intermittent system require frequent valve operation and likely to affect equitability of distribution, and it is due to operators' negligence. High levels of unaccounted water, partial cost recovery of O&M cost. Chlorination or disinfection is not practiced regularly, leading to supplying of non-wholesome water. The principal impact of climate change will clearly be uncertainty. We will no longer be able to predict with any degree of certainty the intensity, volume, and the time of precipitation, and also place of precipitation. Climate change is not simple about the uncertainty of precipitation. It is also about excessive water when we do not need. So India's water infrastructure needs climate proofing. This will require higher level of investments in protecting water infrastructure from extreme floods. Extreme weather is one of the most dangerous threats to the planet, and we are sleepwalking into the catastrophe. Just I would like to remind, during 2018, we saw deadly storms from US to Philippines, wildfires from Australia to California, floods from India to Japan, and heat waves from Europe to Arctic. Scientists say climate change makes extreme weather more likely, and unless we reduce carbon emissions significantly, global temperature are expected to rise 3 to 5 degrees during this century. Effect of drought. Almost 12 states of India are reeling under drought every year. Water scarcity is among the main problems that world faces today, and India is no exception, where the demand and supply there is a lot of gap. Few years back, Maharashtra, there was a rainfall of almost 1,300 mm at some places and 3,000 mm at some places. In spite of that, they have they have been cropping this sugar, which is the more water intensive. Almost they are having 62 sugar mills. That's why they are not able to manage. Actually, they are supposed to go for need for efficient water management to give importance to issues such as water conservation, drip irrigation, and regeneration of groundwater. Service level benchmark. Our service level benchmarks are quite ambitious. Coverage 100%, national average is 50.7 only. Metering 100%, national is it is only 15.3. And as far as our HMWS is concerned, we have 602 mgd of water we are producing, but we are only using 430 mgd. We are quite surplus. And as far as non-revenue water is concerned, it is around 40%. Next. Water contamination. The nexus between water and energy and between water quality and quantity is at the heart of the water challenge. Central Groundwater Board has estimated that about 30% of the groundwater resources have been irreparably damaged. The aquifers have been collapsed because of over-extraction. And water table in the country is dipping every year by 0.4 meters. In many coastal areas, there has been heavy intrusion of seawater, making fertile agricultural land into unfit for cultivation, depleting groundwater table and deteriorating groundwater quality, threatening the sustainability of water supply in rural as well as urban. Next. Water pollution. India's municipal sewage accounts for 80% of the polluting effluents. Around 750 million cubic meters of industrial effluents are being flow annually into the rivers. Power plants use large amounts of water for cooling, processed and returned into the environment at a higher temperature, which will have disastrous effect on the ecology. And just now our Satyanarayana Garu has told that we are producing around 1400 mld of sewage and we are treating more than 735 mld is being treated. Next. Health burden. Every year 37.7 million people are affected by waterborne diseases. Every year 1.5 million children die for diarrheal diseases. Each year 73 million working days are being lost as a result of related to problems. Next. Lessons of experience. Often the engineers are subjected to criticism because of delay in implementation of water supply and wastewater projects. There is a scope to enhance the quality of detailed engineering as seen from the lessons of experience. Unrealistic time frame for project preparation and implementation. Cost and time overrun due to inadequate site investigations. Uncertain availability of water in the proposed resources. Half-baked detailed engineering, suboptimal design, delays in preparation of estimates and approval. Next. Required land is not in possession, permission not available to draw water. Actually, for drawing water, we have to take permission from irrigation department, permission from rail, road, forest, gas, pipeline, etc. There are many schemes have been delayed because of forest and other permissions. Delays in shifting of underground utilities, incorrect and insufficient estimates, provision for working in rock, etc. Next. Our vision is to transform intermittent supply into the cities, of Indian cities to 24/7. Our purpose is to adopt reforms to improve service delivery. Our water utilities to serve effectively, efficiently, and equitably. Innovations in water production and doing more with less. Efficiency in supply and demand, cascading use of water, wastewater reuse, desalination, and stormwater reuse. Next. Way forward. Responsibility for water supply services shall rest with urban local bodies. Though constitutional amendment empowers the ULBs to local bodies, still depend on the government's provisions for funds for improving the water supply services. Radical reforms of water supply and sanitation are required to ensure that the quality of the urbans are included or improved. Next. Constraints to this are lack of reliable water sources, lack of finances, good quality human resources, lack of management and operational skills, ensure availability of water in the proper resources. Next. Financial sustainability is most important, which is possible only by charging the consumer for the water used. It needs to be noted that though there is a willingness to pay by the consumers, often there is no willingness to charge by the departments. There is a need to manage assets in an acceptable service level at the lowest life cycle cost, address the climate change effects, capacity building activities have to be improved, and the main important thing, sustainability depends upon O&M of the water supply schemes. Thanks for your attention. Any questions, sir? Please, sir.
In one of the United Nations report that I read, it says a minimum of 50 liters of water is needed per capita, okay, to survive. Sorry, God. So I decided to work on myself. America, where there's plenty of water, when I turn hot water, cold water, I get it. But by using my old practices in hours, drawing the water from the well, and with a tumbler and bucket, brush, snana cheyadam. Battalemo in a bucket, I used to wash. My mother used to ask me to do it, the whole clothes and things like that. And also using the Indian method of washing the bottom, not a flushing. I did all these things that my old practices, I did in my house. I could live with 30 liters of water, sir. Man will force himself to use less if it's become critical. That's one thing. About a comment about paying taxes. When Modi ji demonetized 1,000 rupee bills, Nana Kishore garu stood in the tax collection bench. My goodness, any double chandi meeku appudu 1,000 bills. Bastalu, bags of 1,000 bills, 1,000 rupee bills. They were paying taxes, and Dana Kishore, I was happy to see his face. So much money is coming. Is that not true? Absolutely. Comment cheyandi, sir.
No, it's absolutely right.
Yes, sir. So I want affirmation by the authority of that. So it is not the lack of the money, it is the lack of willingness on the taxpayers to pay. Other thing about non-revenue water, you said. We have a tendency, if I get phenyl for free, I will drink phenyl, no problem. Anything that is given for free, we use. Farmers get the subsidized water, electricity. There is theft of water, theft of electricity. So when the water becomes really crucial as a source for consumption, I think this number of water stress at 1,700, per that and this, and these are United Nations numbers and ADB and World Bank numbers. And I think those numbers will come down in India, personally, for planning and so forth. I'm not trying to say just use that. That's critical water, but that's what will happen. But why not? If we have more water, we would like to use it, particularly industrial growth. No matter what you do, a certain amount of water is needed to produce a pound of goods. So productivity, economic sustainability, if it is there, there used to be water. There's a water energy nexus. Those are my comments. Every time I come here, I cry. Because I see taps running and nobody has to shut them off. There is no mechanism to shut them off because all the cocks were open out and it's running. As long as the Hyderabad municipality is supplying the water without turning it off, it will run. So, Satyanarayana, what can you do as a chief engineer, director of the entire operation? You're not going to turn it off everywhere. So, sir, my blessings to you. I need your good health. Don't worry, sir. Refuse to worry every day. Huh? Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.